Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Tuesday, the 6th of October, 2020. I'm your host, the amazing Super Chris. I may or may not have chat going over there. It kind of died just before the show started. I can still see your chat in the show though. So I've got Andy Hall joining me from the Laughing in Disbelief blog over at Pathos, and we've got Grumpy Old Dude from the Grumpy Old Dude channel over on YouTube. He's going to be joining us in just a second. Looks like Nokasuchi's not feeling well this morning. We're supposed to hear back about his tests later today. I'll let you know about that. We'll be back right after this, and we'll get the thing going. Do you love Jesus? Do you love America? Do you love yelling at strangers? If you answered yes, then there is a new version of the good book for you. The All Caps Bible. The All Caps Bible has everything from the sacred text you would expect. God creates the world in 6 days. Noah saves bunnies from the great flood. Jesus preaches God's message in the Sermon on the Mount. However, the All Caps Bible levels up the message by putting everything in all caps. That's right, you don't have to go to church to hear God's message yelled at you. This Bible will yell at you while you're reading it. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Christians love the All Caps Bible. Here are a few reviews. Mason in Dallas, Texas says, I don't feel guilty anymore yelling at the Starbucks barista. Karen in Oklahoma says, Jesus' message of forgiveness is better when you yell it. And Tommy in South Bend says, who knew the little drummer boy was such a jerk? Buy the All Caps Bible right now and get a loudspeaker so you too can spread the good news. You get everything for a low, low cost of $89.99. All right. Thank you very much. I hope you all enjoyed that commercial. That's the work of Andy Hall. He wrote it. I did the words. Lady Starfire, I think that was her first time seeing it. She really enjoyed it. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Andy and Grumpy Old Dude. Ed, how are you guys doing this morning?
I got pants on.
You lie. Tell your lies to someone
I got
else.
pants on. Yes, this is a change for me. I feel strange, but I feel a little bit more like an adult this morning, Chris and
okay.
Mr. God.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm alive anyway. I got coffee.
Me too. I'm installing Java myself. All right. So real quick, Nokasuchi, the Rage, is not with us this morning. He's feeling under the weather. He doesn't know if he has the cooties or bronchitis, and he's going to find out today which one he's got. And thoughts and prayers. I hope you're doing okay, Nokasuchi. Ed has this morning. I just happened to notice Ed was awake because he posted something. I'm like, sucker, let me put this guy to work. So good morning, Ed. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, I wanna say hi before I spill my coffee all over my desk here. You see the camera rocking? Why are you doing that? Go this way. There we go. I want to say hi to everybody in the damn nation. Good morning to all you wonderful people in the chat who have joined us this morning. To the people over on Facebook, good morning. Nice to have you with us. My chat's not working. It's bugging me. It's in my brain. It's Stream Elements. It's not my fault. It's moving in not my fault kind of direction. And good morning to everybody who's listening on the Daily Atheist Morning Show podcast. I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. Okay, guys. Man, Typhoid Trump, right? The Typhoid Tyrant, the cootie commander, the plague-ridden president. Oh, the phage failure. This guy. And I showed Andy this morning. I'll put a link because I'm a link kind of person. Let me see if I can put that link. All right. So Trump left the White House on Air Force One, a helicopter one, Marine One, gets on Marine One, goes, and there's
the hospital.
What'd I say? Well, hospital. Thank you, Andy. Thank you.
Yeah.
He left the hospital. Good morning, Rage. I hope you're doing good. See you later. He's going to get his cootie test. This is not one of those where you pass is better, Rage. I'm just saying. You need to fail this one.
Indeed.
So he leaves the White House. Damn it. He leaves the hospital on Marine One. He goes and you see him and he walks up and you're thinking, this guy, okay, and I'm watching. And then he gets to the top of the stairs and he triumphantly takes off his mask and he starts sucking air like a fish on the side of the bank. You know, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then he's like looking off into the sky, saluting. I'm like, what the hell is going? There's nobody there. I thought maybe there's a flag there, and he's looking. There's no flag there. There's no flag where he's looking. Marine One had not left yet. He did go back out and redo. I mean, but the guy's just looking up at the sky, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Well, at first I thought he was like having some sort of stroke or something. I don't know, seeing things. And then later on, I saw this advertisement. It was all a staged propaganda moment. To where the guy, I mean, you see the helicopter coming. You see a distance of him walking around. You see the triumphant. I mean, they staged the entire thing, his entire return. He takes this man, and then he turns around and walks into the White House without his mask on, exposing people in the White House. What the hell? This just ain't right. This is not right. There's something wrong. Who is going to step up? Is there a parent in the room? You know, at what point is he responsible? Does he take any responsibility for any of this? No, actually, our worst fears have been lived up. Lady Starfire, I believe you're right. His worst fears. I'm going to put this thing up here. Chat, are you working? The chat's not working. Hello, chat. No. I'm gonna make you guys talk in a minute. I'm gonna tinker with it. Anyway, where was I going? I was going here. I wanted to. I'm
gonna say words now.
You say words now. I'm distracted. You say words now.
Yeah. One, I'm just gonna say right now. It's good to see you again, Mr. Grumpy. It's been a while.
Well, thank you. Yeah. It's good to be here.
Good. Yeah, Trump. He's so I was watching a video from Dr. Fauci saying that, and this is what he said, that you are able to infect other people 10 days after your onset of symptoms. And if I'm counting correctly, and if Trump was really getting symptoms on Thursday, I believe that means he's not going to be infectious on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday. So up until now and Sunday, the man is a walking, talking shedder of virus. Right. Super spreader. At first you thought Melania was the super spreader. Fake news.
Zing.
It is actually our president.
Yeah. It's just a shameful situation that we got this president, and there's no one that's going to step up and say, this needs to stop. Nobody, I mean, is there nothing this man can do? He actually said one time he could walk up and shoot someone in the middle of, apparently he can walk up and infect people and nobody will do anything to stop him. He went to, would anybody stop him if he decided to go to a rally?
Nope.
Right now, would anybody stop him? Would there be any stopping him if he hit for a rally? Anybody think that if he starts feeling better, he won't go to a rally?
Oh, I think he definitely will. I think he's probably already planning on doing that.
Oh yeah.
And my whole thing is this: he's still trying to downplay this virus, this pandemic. He's trying to say it's not as bad as it is. And if he goes out there and does stuff like this, well, he can prove to everybody it's not that bad. We'll tell that to the 200,000+ families that have lost people in this country alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, indeed. And the people who have survived the virus, many of them have heart problems, lung issues. They're just not the same after recovery.
Yeah, I shouldn't be smoking right now because I still have a permanent spot on my lung because I had this virus.
Really?
Yeah. This is a real thing. This hurt me bad for months.
So let's back up a bit.
Okay.
If you don't mind me asking, Mr. God, I'm just going to call you by all your proper titles, I guess. So I didn't know that you had the virus. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So talk about that. I'm intrigued.
Well, I didn't have to go on a ventilator. I mean, I did get lucky. I didn't have to go on a ventilator, but it it put me down for weeks. There was a good 3 weeks where I couldn't do anything. I wasn't really doing videos. I wasn't doing live streams or anything. I was in the chat here and there, and then after that, it still took me a couple of months to just be able to go up and down the stairs to my bedroom.
Wow.
Without running out of breath. And it was bad. It was brutal. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. And if you think it's comparable to the flu, you're wrong. Like I can handle the flu. I had pneumonia when I was a kid, and it didn't hurt me as bad as COVID. Like, this knocked me down hard.
Do you know where you got it?
Just out running errands, trying to, go shopping, whatever. We don't actually know where I might have picked it up from.
Yeah. I am. Whenever I go into a store, man, I gotta tell you, I am like a raiding team. I like just run in. I got my list. I grab everything I can. I try to go at the slowest time when there's the least amount of people. But I am concerned about getting it myself and having these kind of lung issues.
My thing now is I'm scared to get it the second time.
Oh yeah, brother. Yeah.
Because the doctors have already told me, listen, if you get it again, like you think it's bad now, if you get it again, you're really going to be hurting. Now, I tested positive in March.
Oh, dude.
Really? Just 3 weeks ago, I finally stopped taking the inhaler and everything.
Yeah.
And now I'm waiting to go see the doctor again to ask him if I should be on it again, which I know he's going to tell me I should probably stop smoking first. But, regardless, there are still times where, I'm just walking down the stairs from my bedroom to go to the bathroom or whatever, and I have to stop and catch my breath at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
It's
tough. I mean, smoking, it is a physical addiction. I smoked for a short period of time after high school. I had a girlfriend who was able to get off of cigarettes by using that drug Chantix. Now, she had some issues with some of the side effects, but she had good people around her to keep her steady, so to speak. But Chantix did help her get off it. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, even my wife notices it.
Yeah, dude.
It's not the same as me just smoking. This is something different.
Yeah.
And smokers will tell you that. They know, like, yeah, I know I smoke, but this isn't from smoking. I know when something's wrong,
right.
And yeah, this isn't just from smoking. This is from when I got sick, and it's still affecting me. So if the orange idiot thinks that 3 days in the hospital and everything's okay, no, like, that's scary. That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say that all three of us run hot sometimes, right? We kind of run a little hot. So, Mr. Grumpy, have you been talking with people in real, offline, like in real life, and they've said, I don't know, the typical stuff, like it's just as bad as the flu, or they try to downplay it? Have you had that kind of situation?
Oh yeah.
So what happens after that?
Most of those people are here in my area where I live, and will be, and it's not very often because I try not to go out in the public very often, but we'll be, at the store somewhere waiting in line, and people, won't care about those big giant stickers on the floor where you're supposed to stand to make sure you're 6 feet apart. And they'll keep creeping up on me, and I'll keep trying to move away, and they'll keep getting closer until I finally turn around and say, hey, listen, I've already tested positive for COVID once, back up.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, really? Well, I didn't hear nothing about that in the news around here. And I'm like, I don't care what you heard. I've already had it once. If you don't want it, I suggest you move.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like a light bulb goes off in her head, like, oh, this guy's serious. And they'll start backing away. And it's like, yeah, it's real, dinkus. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Neil, the 604 Atheist. Hey, buddy. Neil, nice to have you with us. We got actually a lot of people joining us this morning. Microraptor, JJ Del Angel, Dr. Osiris. Nice to have you with us this morning. We've got a poll going on how long before Trump is back in the hospital. So far, we've got 4 votes. Everybody thinks within a week. Now, I saw something on the interwebs last night. I saw a post of somebody rolling. They were rolling something that looked like a big, I almost want to say like a long freezer. All right, like a big, tall coffin. It was the length of a coffin, but it was tall, and they were rolling it up into the White House in the middle of the dark. Somebody suggested it was some sort of hyperbaric chamber kind of thing, or a bariatric, one of those, something medical to take care of our typhoid tyrant. So just wondering about that. Have you seen anybody see anything about that?
I haven't seen anything about
I
that.
didn't see that.
But when you say take care of,
yeah,
I just makes me wonder.
Yeah. Dr. Osiris says, my condolences to COVID. Yeah. I feel bad for you. I feel bad.
Well, Dr. Osiris would know because he is the dead and rising god of the Egyptians.
See, there you go. Might as well.
So now I have a question though.
Okay.
Since we know that he admitted that he tested positive, and since we know that he tested positive and went to these other places, and other people tested positive after he was at these places, can we now call this the Trump virus?
Yeah, well, we can. I've referred to it for that for a while, but there's a couple of little points we've got going on here. One is that, Trina says she's going to vote never, that he's never going to be back into the hospital because she's not that she doesn't think he was sick. It's just, or that he's tough. It's that she doesn't think he really had it. What are you showing there? Oh, you're doing coffee. I thought you were showing.
Yeah, I'm getting coffee. No.
So I got distracted.
No, I mean it could be like how they found Stalin. They found Stalin, at nighttime, and he was collapsed on the floor, and they just thought he was drinking too much. Who knows? Maybe we'll just find Trump like in the toilet, and they're thinking, oh, he's just taking a really long poo.
Is this a urban legend about Stalin that he had told his guards outside that no matter what you hear, do not come in here? And then he went inside and he yelled, let me finish the story. Okay. He went in there and he yelled, he's like, oh, help me. And the guards came running in and he had them either executed or replaced because they didn't listen, they didn't follow orders. And then the same thing happened. He actually did call out for help, but they didn't come in. So I don't know if that's urban legend or not.
I don't know. I've heard that story though.
Yeah. I have not heard the story. I know that the people around Stalin weren't really too quick on getting him medical help because he was such a popular guy. So there might be some parallels here with our president.
Well, I watched the thing. I watched Rachel because I'm a real big Rachel fan. And she talked about, oh man, which president was it? Eisenhower, Roosevelt. One of them had a heart attack in the middle of the night.
Eisenhower, I think.
It was Eisenhower. And his doctor, who was the president's doctor, who was a surgeon, not a heart doctor, not a none of this. He was a surgeon, personally treated him. And it wasn't until like the next day, noonish, before the president woke up. And then they called the other doctors to come find. And then they found out they had a heart attack. See, hey, it is not uncommon for our presidents to have crappy, misinformed medical. And this Dr. Conley, he's a virologist, right? Wait, no, he's not. He's an infectious disease. No. What is he? He's an osteopath.
He's a bone doctor? Is that what an osteopath is? A bone doctor?
Let me look.
I'll look it up. What's his name?
Go. Why you do that, Conley? Yeah, he's an osteopathic doctor or something. Yeah, I wouldn't lie to you here in front of everybody. Well, I might.
Well, he is an American physician and a United States Navy officer. He is the physician to the president, and a medical advisor. Physician to the president. He became acting. It doesn't really say what he is. One would assume he's a general practitioner, but I have no. He is a doctor of osteopathic medicine.
Yeah. Crazy that.
Well, at
Huh?
least he's not a homeopath. I mean,
Right.
count your atheist blessings. That at least
Yeah.
well, maybe it would be better if he was a homeopath, to tell you the truth.
It's almost as bad. And we see these things where they're pumping Trump up with all these really good medicines, and he's getting the absolute best of science that science can do for him. And so he's like, "Oh yeah, I feel great." But he probably, if he's really got it, and I have my questions about that too. I'm sure he probably does. You can't be that stupid about it for this long and not get it. But that like they're overdoing it so he feels good and he's going crazy because he's got, it's just, this is weird. I woke up this morning going, well, did he die in his sleep? Let's go look at the news, skipping to the news.
Now, when I first got it, I started feeling sick and I was just like, man, I don't feel good at all. And it was maybe 4 or 5 days after I started feeling sick that, my wife Amber finally said, that's it, you're going to the hospital. And I went and got tested, and sure enough, I had it, and it was, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks before I even wanted to get out of bed and do anything. I was just that sick, and sleeping, sitting up, because if I laid down, I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was drowning.
Yeah.
Now Trump, he's, I'm sure, getting a whole lot better medication and stuff than what I got, because I'm just an average nobody. So I'm sure they're pumping him up with some really good stuff, steroids to keep his lungs open, pain medication, the whole 9 yards to keep him going. So I'm kind of with Trina on this one. I don't think he'll go back in the hospital. I think he's going to be one of the lucky ones who didn't get the super severe case of it. Right. And he's just going to keep on going and telling people, oh, see, I told you it's not that bad.
Right. Well, there's also something else to consider, and that's that he actually has a hospital room at the White House, and he could go into that, and they could do a lot there now. No matter how sick he gets, he may not go back to the hospital just to save face. They'll just put him right in that little room and do everything from there from now on just to save face to keep him. That counts as going to the hospital, though. If we learn that he's been put in that room and he's only in that room and he's invalid in that room.
Well, I think it's safe to say that if he does go back to the hospital, he would be near death. Because he wouldn't go back to the hospital unless he was close to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I voted 1 week.
Yeah. If it's anything like I had, it'll be a week.
Yeah.
If he's got it and the meds they are giving him are masking all these symptoms, and he's feeling good because he's got steroids on board, and he's feeling good because he's got Advil to keep the swelling down, and all these things that are masking his symptoms. Yeah, he could just get. We'll just get this news one day, and we'll see.
Now you're getting my hopes up, Chris. That's what you're doing. You're getting my hopes up.
But between now and then, how many people can he infect?
Pence.
Okay. All right. So, see, all right. So there's two sides to this coin. At one point, we're going, well, you shouldn't let this man out. He's a danger to society. And then you go, wait. Who's he a danger to, though?
Yeah. Well, if he just hangs, if he just hangs out in the White House, and you have people like Pence and
I think McConnell needs to go over there, have an emergency meeting.
Oh yeah, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, all those guys can head on over there. I would not shed a tear.
Me either.
For any of that.
Per circle.
Yeah. And the thing is, what's remarkable about Pence is that he was sitting right in COVID Central at that ceremony for Amy Coney Barrett. He was like right there, and he was able to dodge that. Yeah, dude. He was like, he was like right there.
Yeah, so he's dodged it for now, and it just kind of depends.
Has he dodged it? Has he dodged it, or has he not started feeling it yet?
Right. Or have they you know what? We tested him Friday and he's all clear. So we're not worried. They haven't tested him again since. And
well, I would think too, is that and I was thinking about this the other day, there is a lot of incentive not to report if Pence does get the virus, because then you'd have the president and the vice president, and we know who's third in line in case things go sideways. It's going to be President Pelosi. And that just sends shivers of anxiety up and down Republicans' spine.
Oh, yeah. I long for that day.
Their freaking heads would explode.
Just like that.
Well, there's just a lot. Now we've got all this stuff going on. So there's that other side of that coin, though. On one point, we're going, man, he's so irresponsible. And then the other side, we're like, wait. Go hug up on Pence. Why aren't you and Mitch McConnell like doing face hugs and stuff together?
Face hugs.
Yeah. I was going to say face kissing, and then I started to say hugging, and then it just kind of got, and then the alien thing.
Right. Anyway. Well, that would be a face hug. You're right about that.
Yeah. Well, of course, they'll have to take off his ventilator first. I'm just saying. Have y'all seen my post about, I said it during the show the other day, whenever they do the next debate, instead of muting Trump's microphone, they should turn off his ventilator and turn it back on whenever it's time for him to talk.
Sure.
I'm running with that. I'm running it. I know it's shitty, but look at the man. Look at the man. The man gets to cooties. You think he'd be like, oh my God, this is horrible. People, be careful. Let's do something as a nation to stop this. No, he comes out and goes, you know what? I got the antibodies.
Well, I got
the antibodies. I'm protected. You guys are all screwed.
I'm going to let everybody know this right now. When it first came out and he said he tested positive and people started, jumping all over it and everything, I was like, I get it. You don't like the man, whatever. I'm not going to wish, this upon anybody, whatever. Now it's been a couple of days and he's taking it like it's no big deal. And it's like, all right, you know what? Now I'm retracting that. Whatever happens to you is your own freaking fault, dumbass.
Yeah. I think that at a certain amount, this is just one of the many toxic effects Trump has on people that even, some of the nicest, I'm not one of the nicer people, but even some of the nicest people are like, if he doesn't make it, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say real quick, and this is something that Microraptor says in the chat. Biden seems to be mentally unfit too. Not as bad as Trump, and Harris seems to be a better second in command than Pence in every way. Get that? Now, I kind of thought that too. And then over the past couple of weeks, I've been watching the debates and the town halls and stuff like that with Joe Biden. No, I don't see him slipping. The guy is 80 years old. And for 80 years old, I think he's got a really good grip. He's not, he's frail and fragile. I do worry. I'm just saying a lot of what we hear about him not being mentally fit for the job is Russian and Trump propaganda.
Yeah. I think he's outperforming. I never thought I would say this about Joe Biden.
Me either.
At this point, but I would say that I think he's outperforming, at least from my very low expectations of him. Yeah. He's actually doing better than I thought he would do.
Me too. I've watched his stuff, and whenever during the debate, me and the wife were sitting here watching it, and I was like, I was pacing back and forth, and I was watching. The longer it went, the more comfortable I became with him. He withstood all of Trump's barrages. He didn't fall upon himself. He didn't lose his track of thought. I think one time he lost a train of thought, and hell, I do that 2 or 3 times just during the show.
Yeah. Well, the man's a stutterer too, so it's easy. It's basic cheap Jedi mind tricks to try to interrupt the stutterer. Even a person who's been able to overcome the stutter for years, you can still kind of, and I think that was one of Trump's ploys, is try to get the guy to stutter a lot.
Absolutely. And this is something here, Lady Starfire says, I am more comfortable with Biden than I was before the debates as well. True. I was worried because I had heard some of that noise too about him being, and you know what, man, I got to say, you're that old. How sharp are you at that age? I get all those things, but you know what? I've been watching his stuff. My dogs are fat. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but I've been watching his stuff, and I'm proud. I'm proud of him. He's going to do a much, much better job than I thought he was going to. Now, let's talk about Kamala Harris for just a second. I've seen her speak twice since the debate. Okay, the first time she spoke, it was like the next day. It was in the evening, about 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9, something like my time. We watched her talk, and I'm like, is she drinking? It just really sounded like she was drinking. Either she was like, the way she talked was like off and stuff. And then they would ask her near the end of it, they'd ask her questions like, do you think red is red or blue is blue? And she'd be like, well, I think the American people should decide what red is red and blue is blue. And she just wouldn't answer any straight questions. And I thought, man, what the hell? Even this is a friendly interview, and you're being evasive, and I didn't understand why. And then the next, I think 2 days later, I saw her in a different interview, another interview, and she did much, much better. She was hell. But then I saw Hillary Clinton talk, and I was like, wow, look what we lost. And I've never really been a Hillary Clinton fan, but compared to the runnings we got going on today, that woman is lucid and sharp.
What I find irritating about a lot of public pundits, politicians, is that they always give a few paragraphs as like a precursor to their actual answer to the question. Mm-hmm. And for me, whenever I'm on this show or whenever I'm on my own channel or I'm on other people's channels, I will do my best to answer a yes or no question if I can answer it yes or no in a yes or no manner. Mm-hmm. It's like, Andy, are Nazis evil? Yes. Yes, they are. Yeah. I'll say that right now, unequivocally. And then, and I won't have to give you like 2 or 3 paragraphs beforehand. And I think that a lot of politicians, if they're looking to connect with people in a straightforward way, would do well with that kind of strategy.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know though. Sometimes, at least in this case with her, it gave me pause. I'd been watching Biden, and Biden was performing better than I had hoped. Matter of fact, I made that post going, listen, I see Biden come out there and he did really well considering. Trump came out there and it was like verbal vomit and constant. And we saw what Trump did. It was shameful. And then people are on Facebook going, well, it looked like a tie to me. I'm like, wait. This older gentleman comes out. He speaks well. He takes this bullshit. He does a great job. This other guy kind of literally flings his own poo across the stage half the time. And it's a tie. There's nothing Joe could have done, could have done for even our own team, apparently, to go, that was just great. Joe, you did a fantastic job. There was nothing he could have done.
You can see in the polls afterwards is that, Biden did get a bounce off of that debate amongst likely voters. So that means something.
It really does. It absolutely does. And it worked for me. It gave me more confidence in him. And then we were watching we didn't watch all of the town hall. I just kind of popped in last night as we were, chilling out here at the house, and I'd watch a little bit. And every time I popped in, he was doing just fine, holding his own. He's,
Yeah, I don't understand how a lot of these people think, oh, well, it's a tie, or, oh, man, Trump blew him out of the water. It's like, did I watch something different?
Yeah. Did we watch? Yeah. Micro Raptor asks, did Trump have COVID during the debate? I believe, if I'm correct, now there's wishy-washy on when Trump tested positive first. It was either Wednesday night or Wednesday morning or late Wednesday night, I think. Late Wednesday. And we got the news Thursday morning at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So if that's the case, then that means he did indeed have the virus, and he may or may not have been testable. He may have been may not have shown up on tests yet, because there's this time span between when you get it and when you're testable and when you start feeling bad. And he may, surely, if he tested positive on Wednesday, then he had it on Tuesday.
I've worked with people who are sick, people who are medically fragile, and for anyone who's a nurse or a doctor who works in healthcare, there's something called universal precautions, right? It's basically you wear gloves, and you always treat people around you as if they were sick, even if they aren't sick. Well, you don't know.
Yeah.
So you just, and in general, that's how I treat people around me, unless they're like my girlfriend who doesn't leave the house because she works from home, and every place we go, I don't want to make this sound weirdly codependent. We pretty much hang out together. We're in the same pod, but in general, universal precautions. It's like, you got to treat people, especially in a public forum, like a debate, as if they are all infected, and you got to take measures. Like, you got to be far apart from each other. Everyone has to have a mask on. These are just unbendable rules. These are things that, if you're going to do your job seriously, if you're going to be holding debates seriously, then you got to treat everyone as if they were sick.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a couple of comments from the chat here. Dr. Osiris says, the question is, who did he get it from, his original vector? It takes 10 to 14 days to show symptoms. It just depends. Yeah, and that's the whole deal. And considering they don't test, he didn't get that invasive up your nose test done on a regular basis. He didn't. That's just right. So there's really hard to say where he got it. But now you would think that, oh no, we got it. They would start doing things to mitigate it. Now they've got Kellyanne Conway, that McEnany lady, Kayleigh McEnany, and two of her assistants, two housekeepers in the White House have shown up for three.
I feel bad for the housekeepers.
Yeah, 3 or 4 journalists, and Trump goes in, takes off his mask. Now, I saw it as he was trying to be glorious and triumphant, taking off his mask. But I think it was Microraptor who said that he took it off because he couldn't breathe. He was sucking air and couldn't breathe through that mask after climbing those stairs. And that's why he took it off. You know, so those are kind of some thinkings there. Another question, though, before we skip along, question from the chat. Grumpy Dude, did you vote? Who did you vote for in 2016?
I was just getting ready to answer that. In 2016, I could not vote. I was sitting in the county jail awaiting to go to trial, which I got found not guilty, by the way. Wow. But yeah, I couldn't vote because, well, I was in jail for a crime that apparently they made up. I don't even know how they came up with what they came up with. But yeah, I did get found not guilty. So here I sit. Otherwise, I would have gotten life in prison.
Wow, dude. Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Osiris, for the 99 pence in support for the channel. Thank you. We appreciate that. Yeah, Phil Lister says he definitely could not breathe. Was gasping.
Oh yeah.
You know? But hell, I'm not quite 50, and I looked at those stairs, and I was like, I would have been winded climbing those stairs.
Listen, I just told Amber, though, we were watching that clip. And I told her, I said, now see, I said, that's exactly how I looked. You know, like he's doing the same thing I did when I first got sick. There is no way in 3 days he's feeling any freaking better.
Yeah. You listen to people who have bronchitis or have breathing difficulties, and the way that he was sucking air at the top of those stairs is very similar to what they do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like Chris said, granted, I just turned 48, a couple days ago. But I can tell the difference. You know, it's not his age or anything just going up the stairs.
That's true.
He is not okay.
But all right, so let's work on a couple things here. He is 72 years old or 74. I don't remember. He's in his 70s. And he's well overweight. And he just got finished climbing 2 flights of stairs, at least, because it's a pretty big stair thing. Okay, so now the one thing I want to point out, though, is he is on the best medicine. He's got this steroids, got his lungs nice and open, as they're going to get, considering, you know what I mean? So, yeah, had it not been on the best, and that's the whole deal. He's on the best of the best. How long can he take this?
Dudes, is it me, or has he changed his hair color? He looks grayer now, and is against to the bright orange he was years ago.
Well, he just didn't have a time to, get it all, colored up while he was sitting in the hospital for a couple of days.
Right, and he probably hasn't had time to get who's doing his makeup, who's doing his hair. Are they wearing a mask? Are they just wearing masks and gloves? Is that it? Are they wearing full PPE? Now, I see them saying, oh yeah, the Secret Service agents were wearing full PPE in the car. No, they weren't. They absolutely were not. They were wearing just a mask. That is not full PPE. Yeah. Where are the people who's doing Trump's hair wearing full PPE?
They're not. They're
not. Are the people who's doing his makeup, right? These are who. All right. Did he dress himself?
These are images I don't want to have, Chris.
Did he dress him? So who dressed him? Did they dress him in full PPE? I just feel like this man is just, spreading it to whomever.
I'm a little bit different than Andy. I've been to prison. I can handle those images.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yes.
It says they were wearing goggles, the Secret Service guys. Goggles, I saw a mask. They may have been wearing gloves, I'm not sure if they were.
I would only be comfortable in scuba gear.
Right.
Independent oxygen tank right there. The Darth Vader sound coming out of my, breathing. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Bullionator says gold is easily sanitized, so at least his toilet seat is safe. I guess so. I don't know.
Yeah, regardless of whether or not Secret Service was wearing, PPE or not, how many other people in the White House besides them is he interacting with?
Of course.
A lot.
Well, it's just the hospital where whenever he took the photo op, just to go through the hospital, to get down to the garage, to get to the car, how many people did he see and or interact with or whatever? You know, is he staying alone, secluded in his room in the hospital? Or was he wandering back and forth between the office over here and the newsroom over here? Because that's where we see him at. Was he quarantined at all, ever? And now he's back in the White House. He walked in and gallantly took off his mask before engaging with White House employees and filming his little, I made it through the thing, don't be afraid of the coronavirus, you will survive. I survived, you will survive. I beat it. You know?
Once again, you know, there's this ring of stupid that's closing in around him, made by himself.
Yeah.
And you know, you piss off enough people who have guns who are around you every day. You irritate, you put into danger, deadly danger, the people around you who you depend on. Then it is just more variables stacking up, pointing to the fact that bad things will happen to you.
Yeah. Listen, it's an old saying. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Stupid prizes.
Yeah, fair enough.
And well, they're winning. They are winning.
They're winning.
If that is the criteria by which they are winning, they're winning. I don't know. It's just one of these things where you just, again, at some point, isn't there an adult in the room? At some point, all right. So let's say right now, if Trump came out of the White House, butt naked, babbling, drooling, would anybody do anything? You want to say they would, and yet, based on what we've seen so far, they don't want to give emergency powers to Pence because they'll piss off Trump. I mean, it just seems like he can do anything. It doesn't matter. There's one thing stumbling out of the White House naked. There's another thing of being completely plague-ridden and on national television just giving that shit to other. Which one is crazier?
Well, let me ask you this, because Chris, I know you follow politics more than I do. Are they afraid to give Pence, you know, the presidential powers because they just think he's an absolute moron? Like, no. I mean, is he just a face for the vice presidency?
I say that's a no, because
Pence is a smart guy.
He can't be as dumb as Trump. He can't be as much of an uncontrollable, willful moron as Trump. And yet, you know, so I don't think that's it. There may be another reason, like, who knows? Maybe they think if he gets it, he won't want to give it back, or so. Who knows? They're crazy. Who knows? But I don't think that's it. That's a good idea, but I don't think that's it.
And there's a good chance that Pence already had presidential powers for a short period of time. We don't really know, and we wouldn't know about it. Who knows how long?
I thought I could be wrong, but I think we would know. And I only think that because it takes Congress has to know. Well, there's something that has to happen.
I think it was during the Eisenhower administration when he was in the hospital. The vice president was in charge of things while he was under the knife, and I don't know how long it took us to know that the VP was in charge. So, but you're right; it would just be a matter of time before we found out, you know, Pence was in charge. But they would do a lot of things to keep that from public knowledge until after the election.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they don't want anybody to think that, you know, Donald Trump isn't completely in control of himself and his faculties. Yeah.
Right. They are, the White House and the Republicans are white knuckling this. They're gripping their hands at the wheels of the Republican Party, and they're saying we just got to make it to November 3rd or 4th or 5th or whenever things are over, and then we'll take it after that. We'll just figure it all out or mess it all up.
I'm hoping we get a clean sweep with this upcoming election. Matter of fact, did you guys see the article from was it Goldman Sachs is saying we need the Democrats to win? When Goldman Sachs is saying we need the Democrats to win, you know that the conservatives have gone too fucking overboard. Pardon my language, too overboard, because man, Goldman Sachs, right, has come out and said we need a Democratic win to boost our, right? That's something. And you know who they're going for? Biden, of course, because they're same Biden, Hillary, the same people who were having secret meetings with the Goldman Sachs's back before the last election, whenever Trump won against Hillary Clinton.
Well, popular science.
But I'm okay with it now.
Look at Popular Science magazine. They have never, ever in their entire existence backed any presidential candidate until Joe Biden.
Yeah, sure enough. I mean, people in business should be concerned about fascism here in America, because if you look at what again, I'm going to bring it back to Nazis because it seems oddly appropriate. That basically, a fascist government will tell you what you need to do, whether you're, they'll disband all the labor unions and just make the official shell unions that the government takes care of. They will pretty much tell companies what to do, industries what to do. Property rights are out the window, and you can't have functioning, private ownership if you don't have good property rights, if you don't have stable property rights. So, business owners should just suck it up, and they say, all right, we might have to pay a bit higher in taxes, but it's either that or you go down this dark road where eventually the government is just going to take control of everything.
This is one of those things where the scorpion stings itself. Bullionator says fascism is bad for business, which is true.
In the long run.
Overall, in the long run, it is. But actually, the definition of fascism is whenever you mix politics with business. So business is actually part of. It's like selling out your own countrymen to the rich is essentially part of this fascism notion. And then, of course, you know what I mean? One guy in control.
Authoritarian.
Did you just see this with Rage? Rage is in the chat. He said they're telling him to wait 2 to 4 days to get his results back from the COVID. They didn't give you this. They didn't give you the rapid test code.
Wow.
Mr. Rage.
We're waiting for Mr. Rage. Did not get the. Wow, that sucks. Well, stay safe and stay secluded.
I hope your oxygen levels are okay, and I hope you don't have a fever. I would keep an eye on both of those two things: oxygen levels and
absolutely
fever.
He got the same thing I did. They stuck a giant Q-tip up into his brain and told him to wait a few days because, well, we're just average people. We don't rate high enough to get the actual good test.
Yeah.
Dudes, I'll tell you the story. There was a buddy of mine who is a captain of a yacht. He's a Brit. He was Canadian. He actually writes the Out and Abouter as a satirical blog. And he's a captain. His day job is basically a captain of a ship. And he said, I have rapid tests here. So anyone who comes on this boat gets a rapid test. And it just shows you the class difference and also the country distance because he's a Brit. Yeah. And they have just rapid tests on the boat. And, they have a bunch of them, too, so that anyone who comes on the boat automatically gets a rapid test. And the idea that we don't have it as everyday Americans, it's madness. That's what it is.
It's craziness.
And I have to tell you, I've had out of the 4 tests I have had, 2 of them, the results were lost. They were just lost.
Really? That's right. Huh? You were quarantined there for twice, wasn't it? Whenever you,
I was stuck at work for a week, and the first test I got, which was from work, they lost the results. I never got my results. And no, actually, the last test I got, I did get the results back, but it was 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I remember you were. I even made icons with you behind bars for the show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I was out of commission because I was at work, and then So definitely, Mr. Rage, keep track of what those of the results. Make sure that they don't forget to call you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, something else going on, not that I want to distract from Mr. Rage. I hope everything goes well with you, Nokasuchi. I've been hearing a couple of times in the Twitterverse that Jared Kushner? No, Steve Miller and Bill Barr may possibly have the cooties. Now, Bill Barr was right there with Kellyanne Conway. I can't imagine he couldn't have it. Any word on Chris Christie? Not a thing. Not a thing. Saturday, somebody spoke to him on the phone and he was raspy. Said he refused to talk about his things. I want to hear more about Bill, them. What's going on with them? I've been watching. Has anybody seen anything official on these guys?
I haven't seen anything about Christie.
The only thing I saw was him that he put out a tweet saying that he did test positive. He was trying to listen to the doctors and do the best he can. And then that was it. I haven't heard any updates on him. Like you said, nothing. Like, I mean, is he on a ventilator? Is he like, what's going on with that? Yeah.
Yeah. Nathaniel Walters, good morning, Nathaniel. Thank you for joining us. Says that Barr and Miller are quarantined. I haven't seen that yet, but that wouldn't surprise me.
I'm looking at a story from the 5th, which was yesterday. ABC News, and it says Barr is not quarantining. He is supposedly getting tested regularly, and he's tested negative twice. And of course, Amy Coney Barrett already had it within during the summer, so she already had so she was in that window of having the antibodies, from what I understand.
Yeah. Well, they also brought all of her kids along and all this stuff. I mean, that was one of the most. We just got a very. I don't know. There's an entire third of our population who just don't seem to think right. Brain work, no brain. Brain, what is brain? What the hell is wrong with these people?
Grumpy can definitely attest to this since he's seen it firsthand. Cults have a way of incentivizing psychosis, have a way of incentivizing, if you already can't think straight, they will help you not think straight a lot.
They'll actually help you think even more unstraight.
Right. Well, so far there's been a big outrage from like the families of people who have died from the COVID because of the way he's treating.
Well, I think a lot of the problem is areas like mine. This is a very small area. This entire county that I live in, there's just all little small towns, a couple of thousand people tops, and they don't see a whole lot of people around here getting it, but they never go anywhere else. And they think, oh, well, there's only 1,500 people in this county out of the entire county that have tested positive for COVID. We've only heard of 2 people dying, and they were old anyway. Okay, but expand your horizons. This county, this one little space in the state of Pennsylvania is not the entire country. It's not even the entire state. It's this one little area. There are other areas where there are tens of thousands of people that are infected with this virus, but they don't see that. So they figure, oh, well, that's over there. We don't have to worry about it.
I just want to talk about medical costs for a minute, because someone was saying about the insane costs of a rapid test. Let me tell you, if you don't know how insurance companies are in this death fight with medical with medical manufacturers and hospitals and doctors, the fact that hospitals will know that insurance companies will not pay them exactly the amount that they want to pay them. I had a girlfriend who was in appeals in an insurance company, a nonprofit insurance company, so it wasn't completely evil. And she told me that her insurance company was only paying 80 cents on the dollar, maybe even down to 70 cents a dollar on what hospitals want them to pay. Mm-hmm. So the cost is elevated to begin with, knowing that insurance companies will not pay them the 100% of what they want. And so then you have people without insurance coming in. And so they now have to negotiate or try to negotiate with the hospital who says X procedure or X device costs $10,000, let's say. And that's an elevated amount. That is an elevated amount, and it is reflective of our crappy medical system. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that much. One, it doesn't have to be that much. And two, there is always money. There is always money in this country. And the thing is, it's always being siphoned off for the rich. It's as simple as that.
Did you hear that Lindsey Graham said during his debate the other day that the Social Security, the older people in Social Security who are taking it should start taking less in order to save the program? Can you believe like you say, there's always money. There's no problem with money. It's just disgusting that this man would suggest that very thing. I hope he loses. I watched him get slammed in that debate the other day. That other guy just trashed him. And Lindsey Graham was just, I mean, it was a pathetic performance.
It's unlikely that Graham loses his seat, but there is a chance there's a far better chance of it this election cycle than in the past.
We just need sweeping changes.
Yeah, people like him make statements like that, and then they wonder why people in the working class are like, eat the rich.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well,
what do you expect?
That's right. Now we talk about Lindsey Graham, and Lindsey Graham is in trouble. I believe he's in trouble. There are other ones that are in trouble because of all these. They're associated. They've hitched their wagon to Trump, and now people are just going to vote down ballot and just get them the hell out. And I think that's also part of it. We've been focusing on Trump. Oh yeah, they're going to stack the Supreme Court with this Amy Barrett lady so she can give him the election, because what's going to happen is Biden's going to win and Trump's going to contest it, and they're going to run it up as far as they can to the Supreme Court and then have the Supreme Court give it to him, and then that's the plan, right? Okay, so why does that stop with Trump? It doesn't have to stop with Trump. Lindsey Graham loses his election. Ted Cruz loses his. Any of these bastards, Mitch McConnell loses his election. Suddenly he starts contesting it all the way up to the Supreme Court. Any Republican who loses his election tries to contest it up to the Supreme Court would have a win.
Yeah,
it's not just Trump.
Yeah, it's interesting, but there was a Supreme Court non-decision because they decided not to see the case or not to try the case. I believe it was in Arkansas. It was one of the red states, and I should have pulled it up, but I was looking at 538 in the senatorial races, and that basically in Arkansas, I believe it's Arkansas, that to do a mail-in ballot, it's state law that you have to have a witness that signs the document too. And so that actually is voter suppression in a way.
Yeah.
And so basically, especially in the time of COVID, because if you're living alone, what are you going to do? You're going to go to someone and say, hey, I need you to be a witness for me to sign this document, and then, expose yourself to the virus. But the Supreme Court decided not to try the case, which means that the lower case, the lower court, the law basically still holds. And so when we expect cases to go to the Supreme Court about this federal election, you can expect the court not to listen to the cases. So in other words, if there's like some chicanery going on in Arkansas or South Carolina or one of the purple states, the court may just let the standing go, may just let this voter suppression thing go about.
Yeah.
Good news, though, is that 538 is saying that there's a 66% chance that the Democrats win control of the Senate. So that's positive.
Yeah, that would be, man, if we could hold on, if we had all three, the House, the Senate, and the presidency for 2 years, because that's as long as we ever get it, just a couple of years.
Yeah.
We could do a lot of good, really.
I think we won't do anything because of filibustering. I mean, just to be blunt about it.
Yeah.
You would have to have
what's a filibuster? We haven't heard that in forever.
That's because the Republicans haven't been in charge. They haven't been in the minority. As soon as the Republicans are in minority, you're going to hear about filibuster every freaking day.
Why aren't our Democrats doing that?
And I want to say this is what digs us into a deeper hole. There's going to be a filibustering. The legislative branch will not be working, which means Biden will have to sign all these executive orders strengthening the presidency. And we don't need to strengthen the presidency anymore. We need a system that works.
Yeah. Well, he may not have to with all the strengths that Trump's already given the presidency. He may just have to start. Yeah. I mean, matter of fact, down the road, we need to start cutting it out, cutting it back. One of the things I want to talk about, it is 8:00. Andy and I have been talking about going longer on the show. But today I've got my wife is home. She's not doing well. I'm going to go spend the morning with the wife. So
does she have symptoms?
No. Back problems.
Oh,
that's my fault.
Okay. All right, I always have to ask. I always feel like,
Yeah, no. So I'm just going to, today she's home. I don't get her home. She's been working busy all the time. So I'm going to enjoy spending some time with her instead of running long. I don't know. We might start doing the hour and a half shows this week or maybe next week. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. We're going to start talking longer, though, because we got nowhere to be. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you, Andy, for joining me this morning. It's the 4th day of Christmas. Let's see what happens. I'll be sending you messages.
Cool. I just want to say that I have Boston area funny man Justin P. Drew on my channel at 12 noon. We're going to be talking about anything from comedy to politics to his Twitch channel, which I know nothing about Twitch. So we'll be probably talking about that a bit. I'll be the old guy asking the young guy what's going on.
Awesome. True enough. Huh? Hey, Grumpy, what do you got going on, man?
I think I'm going to go ahead and do a live stream tomorrow early. It's going to be probably about 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. I'm also going to be talking about Twitch and some other social media platforms that don't like people putting up videos like mine that debunk hate groups and racism.
I can see that.
If you're not going to let me speak out against them, you're helping them.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. If it was up to them, we would all just be watching cat. I mean, and I love cat videos. Don't get me wrong on this. But they just want to keep us playing video games and watching cat videos and not having any kind of substantial conversations on their platform.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a live stream first thing tomorrow morning. Like I said, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure I don't override the damn nation.
You're a hero. Yeah, you're awesome. Yeah, our guys. Unless there's something else, I want to go ahead and wrap it up and go do that voodoo that I do somewhere else.
Very good.
Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to everybody in the damn nation. A great show this morning. Lots of folks in there today. And thank you to everybody watching on Facebook, as well as the people who listen on the Daily Atheist Morning Show podcast, who listen live. Thank you all, and we will see you tomorrow for Hump Day. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Be safe.
Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, Ian Davenport, Cindy Plaza, and tons of mice. Thank you, and have a great day.